Hi guys, so I thought I'd maybe try something a bit different in this whole lockdown, self-isolation, quarantine madness we're going through. So, obviously as we all know, hopefully, major wrestling fan. So I thought, why not give a quick review of my social media accounts of what I thought of the strangest, most unique WrestleMania of all time, WrestleMania 36. If you're going to watch it all, great. If not, and it's not for you, that's absolutely fine. This is just my way of doing something kind of to take my mind off of what's going on. And actually, to be fair, WrestleMania this year was that. It was 2 nights. It was a bit different. It was a bit weird. But overall, I'll review it more. So, let's start with night one. I'm not going to bother with the pre-show. No one cares about the pre-show. I'm going to start with what I believe to be one of the most unique but best matches I've seen in a long time. And that was the Boneyard match between The Undertaker and AJ Styles. So, obviously it was cinematic, it was different. I posted up something about it during the show, and actually, what I believe to be the best cinematic wrestling match of all time. Now, I know there was one on night two, but I'll get into that a bit later. As for this one, you had The Undertaker and AJ Styles, two of the best of all time. Going out in the Boneyard, you were able to see a different side of The Undertaker. We got the American Badass back, that was great. And we got to see AJ Styles feature prominently in a main event with The Undertaker. And actually, you know what? If you're a wrestling fan, if you're not a wrestling fan, I believe you should be watching this because it is something a bit different. And to me, it felt like a film. And that's probably the highest compliment I can give this match. So yeah, I would say go and watch this match because being a fan or not a fan shouldn't matter too much. It was that good. So let me move on next to the Universal title match between Goldberg and Braun Strowman. Now, it was meant to be Roman Reigns. Obviously, if this was a proper WrestleMania, I think we'd be sitting here talking about Roman Reigns as a Universal champ. I'd have no problems with that. I have no problems with Braun Strowman winning and becoming Universal champ simply because I feel like it's time for Goldberg to just walk away. He's had a good career, but now was the time to walk away. And hopefully this was his final match. As for Braun Strowman, I'm happy for the guy. He's been in this spot near the main events, near the titles for a while. So for him to finally get that opportunity to show that he can now be a world champ, that's good for him. So hopefully starting Friday on SmackDown, we start to see the proper Braun Strowman that we saw 2-3 years ago. And he starts to mow through everyone like he should do. And maybe, just maybe, we see what he can do. Now we've got this opportunity. Next up, the Raw Women's title. Now, this was one of the matches I was most looking forward to. And I'll be honest, after having a few days to think about it, I was a bit underwhelmed. Like, it started off great, but I feel like it could have been more than what it was. Maybe it was the environment they were in, I don't know. Maybe it just proves that Becky needs a crowd to be able to thrive and put on her best performances. I don't know. Shayna probably could care less whether she's in front of 50,000, 60,000 people or nobody. Now, obviously, Becky won. Am I happy about that? I'm not sure. Like, I love Becky Lynch to death. But I feel like it was time for Shayna to take over. Now, maybe Shayna lost because she's going back to NXT. Maybe she's moving to SmackDown. I don't know. And maybe Becky won simply because it sets up Ronda Rousey to return. I don't know. And face her at SummerSlam. That would be my logic. But to see Becky holding it till SummerSlam, though, I'm not sure. Obviously, Money in the Bank is potentially next month. We don't know. They're advertising it still, so maybe the Money in the Bank winner's going to take it from her. I don't know. As for the match, I was a bit underwhelmed, but I feel like... And yeah, I feel like it should have been Shayna winning, but like I said, if they want to go with Becky, that's fine with me as well. So next I'm going to talk about is Owens and Rollins. Now, for me, this was probably, along with the Boneyard match, the best match of the night. It told a great story, and as soon as that DQ finish hit, I was like a lot of people, I was underwhelmed. I was like, you seriously, we're going to end up one of the main events on a DQ match? And then it got good, because it became a no DQ match, and these two beat the hell out of each other after that. And Kevin Owens finally got his WrestleMania moment. I beat Jericho a few years ago, but they're not going to talk about it because we know where Jericho is. Jericho's in AW, so whatever. But he got his Mania moment, and he got to dive off that WrestleMania sign, which I can tell you a lot of wrestlers have probably wanted to do. But he got to dive off that sign, and he got to create a moment that, to be fair, we're going to see in video packages for years. Regardless of how many people were there, he got to do it. And if it was a real WrestleMania, if we got a proper WrestleMania, I reckon he'd have dove off that big shit thing they've got at Raymond James Stadium. I reckon he'd have dove off that. But he was able to jump off the WrestleMania sign, and that's pretty cool. So good for Kevin Owens. I'm glad he got the win. I'm glad he got the match. A great match, so yeah. Next up was the match that I actually thought was... I don't think a lot of people were talking enough about, and that was the women's tag title match between Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, and the Kabuki Warriors. For me, the MVP of this match was Nikki Cross, by a mile. I don't care what you say, Nikki Cross was the best part of this match. She was great. And am I happy that they won? Yeah, I suppose I am, yeah. Because I feel like Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are probably the best part of SmackDown's women's division. You can argue that point with me all you want, I don't mind. I think they are. As for the Kabuki Warriors, I feel like Asuka's going to get a singles push. I struggle to think what they're going to do with Kairi Sane. I really do. Like, she's great, and I feel like maybe it's time to split them up. Maybe move Kairi back to NXT, I'm not sure. I guess time will tell. But as for the match, I thought it was great, and I'm pleased to see Alexa and Nikki Cross back as women's champions. Next, let's talk about the ladder match, because fair play to these three guys. John Morrison, Jimmy Uso, Kofi Kingston, they made the most of a bad situation. In terms of The Miz not competing, so it was going to be a triple threat tag match. Instead, it turned into just a triple threat singles match for a tag title. It's confusing. If you're not a wrestling fan, you listen to it, whatever. I'll explain it at a later date. But for me, this was great in terms of they were able to put on a great match in front of no one, bust their ass. Like, they must have been absolutely hurting the next day. But fair play to the three of them, especially John Morrison when he walked over that rope, Spanish Fly, and Kofi Kingston, amazing. As for the finish, genius. All three on the ladders, gripping that, whatever it is. Kofi and Uso push John Morrison. He grabs the belts, falls onto the ladder. They've retained the titles. Brilliant. Never seen it happen. Probably going to see a lot more of it, because I reckon a lot more wrestlers are going to start to think that's a cool way to end the ladder match. But John Morrison, MVP of that match by a mile. Great performance. Glad to see him back. So next up, let's now roll these into one, because Elias King Corbin, whatever. Don't care. Didn't care about it then, don't care about it now. And then finally, the Intercontinental title match between Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan. Now, a lot of people enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but I feel like it could have been more. But with Sami Zayn's new character, I get where they're coming from. I totally get where they're coming from. He takes less bumps. He doesn't compete as much, so yeah. But a match between Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn should have been up there. It should have been a 5-star. It should have been one of the best matches of this night. But for me, it just didn't deliver. So that's where I'm going with that. But it's fine. It is what it is. So for me, overall, night one, I really enjoyed night one. Like, when they announced the match, I was a bit underwhelmed. You probably see that on my Twitter account. But the actual show itself was pretty good. Match of the night for me was the Boneyard match by a mile. I love that Boneyard match. And like I said, go out and watch it. If you're a wrestling fan, if you're not a wrestling fan, just watch it, because it's fantastic. Right, now time to talk about night two. So night two, on paper for me, looked the stronger. Whether it was or not, I'm not sure. But let's dive in. Let's talk about night two. And what better place to start than with the Firefly Funhouse match. My God, was this mad. Honestly, I felt like I was on acid. Not that I've ever been an acid, just saying. But it was bonkers. Like, it wasn't even, was barely a match. It was something. So, to put into context, if you've not got a clue, it's basically Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, against John Cena. You all know John Cena. And basically, it was almost like Bray was taking Cena down a stroll through memory lane back to WrestleMania 30, where a lot of us, myself included, believed that Bray Wyatt should have beaten Cena, but he didn't. And Bray Wyatt was holding this for 6 years. Fast forward to now, and this match basically, you saw Cena go back to the ruthless aggression when he first debuted, wearing some weird tights. Google it. It's hilarious. Google it. It's not the Cena you know. We then move on to, I don't even know. It went back to like the 1980s, and it was like Cena's only in the spot because of his looks and muscles, whatever. We then fast forward to when he was the Doctor of Thugonomics, and basically Bray was sort of indicating that because it was unscripted, it was Cena at his best. Then they started to script him and it got a bit naff, I don't know. Then there's the talk of Cena turning heel, so they put him in the NWO. Like I said, it needs to be watched. Same as the Boneyard match. Whether you're a fan or not of wrestling, whether you care about, watch it, because it's 20 minutes of just pure bonkers. And it eventually ends up with Bray Wyatt getting the win over Cena. Whether that means for Cena, we don't know. But Bray Wyatt got a win. I don't know if it classes, I don't know. It was more a segment than a match, but whatever. Okay, I'll move on to something a bit more normal, and that's that Drew McIntyre, Britain's own, he's Scottish, but he's British, finally winning the WWE title from Brock Lesnar. So the match basically was, it was what we thought it'd be, a load of finishers, blah, 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 blah. But in the end, Drew McIntyre got the win, and that's all that matters. Because now finally we're at the point where Drew McIntyre can start to show what he can do. Hopefully the crowd don't turn on him like they did Seth Rollins last year. But wrestling fans can be fickle. But, yeah, so Drew's a champ, that's what it matters. They did that thing with the Big Show Rock, that doesn't matter, who cares about that? Drew McIntyre won the main event of WrestleMania, he beat Brock Lesnar. Britain have a world champ, finally. All's right in the world. Let's move on to the NXT Women's title. Now, for me, this was the best match of the night in terms of actual in-ring. So, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley. Rhea, great champ, was a great champ. Now Charlotte Flair's the champ. What does that mean? Does it mean that Rhea was buried? Bullshit. She wasn't buried. Rhea Ripley had the match of her career last 2 nights ago. And for me, it showed that she can hang with the best, because Charlotte Flair is the best. I don't care what anyone says, Charlotte Flair is the best women's wrestler in the world right now. Fight me on that, I don't care. So for me, Rhea losing is not a bad thing. It now opens up the opportunity for Charlotte Flair to go to NXT and compete against Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Tegan Nox, Mia Yim. The list goes on and on and on. And for me, it's only going to be better when Rhea finally gets that win over Charlotte. That'll make Rhea look like the star that we all know she is. But for me, it was the best match tonight. It told a story. It focused on Charlotte needing to beat down Rhea's legs in order to hit the figure of 8 and get the win. It showed Rhea had the grit, the determination. So for me, bar none, best match of the night. Next up, let's talk about the last man standing match. Now, for 2 days later, I still don't know if I liked it or not. Was it too long? 36 minutes? I'd say it was probably 5-10 minutes too long. But it was Edge's return match to WrestleMania. It was his first singles match in 9 years. I can't hate it, because it's Edge. Was it a classic? I don't know. It's one that I think you have to make your own mind up on. Don't let anyone else dictate what you thought of this match. I think I need to watch it again, because I'm still not convinced as to what I thought of it. In the end, Edge won. It told a good story. He hit the concerto to win. If you saw Raw a few months ago, that's how Edge was taken out by Randy Orton. It came full circle. It was great. Edge is back. Orton's a great heel. We'll see what happens. Hopefully this leads to something more for Edge though. Hopefully, and we see more of Edge on TV. That's all that matters to me. So next, let's talk. Let's talk about Otis and Dolph Ziggler. Bless Otis. If you've not seen Otis before, Google him. Otis, bless Otis. I love Otis. So the storyline was Otis was going on a date with Mandy Rose. It got taken over by Dolph Ziggler and Sonya Deville. We saw that reveal on SmackDown. We get the match itself. Otis is winning. Dolph Ziggler hits a low blow on him. Out comes Mandy Rose, who is a stunner by the way. Slaps her best friend Sonya Deville in the face for double crossing her. Gets in the ring, low blows Dolph Ziggler. Otis wins. Ends up making out with Mandy Rose. Happy ending. It's like Miss Elizabeth and Randy Savage. Google that one as well. WrestleMania 7 all over again. It was great. Good old Otis. He's a hero. We love him. There we go. And he got a Mania win. What's not to love? Next, let's talk about the Fatal 5-Way. So, Bayley won. It was either going to be Bayley or Sasha, let's be fair. The way she won was interesting because... So, towards it, Naomi got eliminated, Tamina got eliminated. So, towards the end, Lacey moved out the way. Bayley kneed Sasha in the face. Sasha then got angry at Bayley. Got hit with a woman's right by Lacey. She got eliminated. Bayley did nothing to help her, even though they are best friends, or they're best friends. Later in the match, Sasha comes back in, takes out Lacey, and Bayley retains the title. So, for me, this is building towards SummerSlam in Sasha's hometown, where we'll see Sasha finally, hopefully, win the women's title from Bayley. We'll see. Hopefully it builds that long. That'd be great. As for the match itself, I thought it was quite good. Was it a bit too long? Maybe. But I thought overall these 5 women from SmackDown got the opportunity to show actually that the SmackDown Women's Division is just as good as the Raws and NXT's. Which it is. Next we'll talk about... I'll merge these two into one. So we've got the Street Profits beating Angel Garza and Austin Theory. Was the match that good? It was okay. The bit that mattered to me though was Bianca Belair debuting from NXT. Finally, we got to see Bianca Belair. She was always going to be on Raw, because that's where Montez Ford was. Bianca Belair's now on Raw. I feel like she could be the one that maybe beats Becky Lynch. I wouldn't object to that. I love Bianca Belair. We'll see where that goes. The Street Profits are still tag champs, that's fine. Austin Theory, Angel Garza, losing didn't hurt them. They're young guys, they'll bounce back. Zelina Vega's great. She'll be fine, whatever. Then Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley, it was what it was. It was a fast-paced match. It was good. It was decent. It showed them both to be what they are. They're great wrestlers. So, overall, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. The match itself was good. Black won. We saw a little bit of dissension between Lashley and Lana. I think that was actually splitting them up. So, yeah, that was night 2, which I thought was just as good as night 1. I thought, again, it was different. There was no fans. It wasn't in a big stadium. It was at the Performance Centre. Mania this year was always going to be a little bit different, but I feel like they embrace it. It was fine. Had Mania been proper, would we have got the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse match the way we did? Probably not. So, overall, I thought it was a good show. It's not going to be the greatest Mania of all time. It never was. It was never going to be. But they worked with what they got, they gave us a good show, and for the 2 days, it took my mind off of everything that's going on. That's my thoughts on my Instagram account. I know it's going to be a long story. If you want to watch it all, great. If you've watched it all, fantastic. If you haven't, whatever. This was just me wanting to get my thoughts out there about something I'm passionate about, and I thought this was the best way to do it. So, I might do it again, I might not. This is also going to go up on my Twitter account, at Adam_Lewis10. If you want to follow me there, great. If not, that's not a problem. So yeah, I might do this again, I might not. Anyway, stay healthy, stay safe, stay inside for starters, and hopefully I'll see you all soon in person.